Hi, this is Sonia with Artsy Solutions, and today I want to show you how I made some of these little clusters right here. And basically all I did was just use some die cuts. I fussy cut out a couple of things, used some stickers. I did some stamping and just different little things like that. And I'll show you in the process video. But here's the first little cluster. And you've got like cheesecloth, you got stamped images. You've got some die cut images that I had altered using some glossy accents and some watercolor pens. And then here's another little cute little thing. I just took the die cut negatives from the little images that I used on this little project, and I just made like a little pocket right here. You can add to a journal. Use a little doily and different little stickers and things like that, you know. And then here's another one. And then here's another one. Really cute. Just add these to your journals, scrapbooks, or whatever you want to add them to. Really easy to make. I didn't stitch or anything on this one. Usually I'd stitch, but I didn't. You can still make them look very cute even without stitching. So use what you have, your scraps, scrap fabric, paper, whatever you have. Stamped images, fussy cut images, all that stuff like that. Super easy process. So let me go ahead and show you how I made all this. Okay, so I'm going to make some clusters, and I'm going to make them using some watercolored paper. Well, this is actually cardstock. It's not watercolor paper, but I'm going to color it with watercolor paints. So yeah, and then I'm going to like stamp and die cut, and then we're going to add some stickers and images and things like that together. So first, let's see. I think I'm just going to spray, I'm going to coffee spray some of these papers. I'm just going to go ahead and do front and back. And I could use stencils, but I'm not going to do that. As far as like getting a print on here, because what I'm making is not going to really show the print because it's going to get cut. So, and I've got my oven on because I'm just going to dry these right quick. I'm going to put them in the oven at like 200 and like let it dry for like a minute or so. Okay, so it's pretty much dry, and it does have little lines on it, but that's fine. It'll be, because I put it directly on the racks. But I mean, I always, whenever I like dry my stuff in the oven, I always clean my oven so you don't have to worry about cross-contamination with foods and things like that. So we're clean here, okay? Okay, so now we got these. Now I want some other colors. I'm going to use this blue. I'm just going to kind of, actually one of these pages I'm going to leave solid like coffee stain, because I have this little stamp set that I got from Temu. It kind of reminds me of the Tim Holtz stamps, but I like it because of all the words and numbers and things like that that are on there. But it's just one solid stamp, and I'm going to stamp this page. So I'm just going to move this over here off to the side so I don't mess it up. But now I've got this little die kit. They're actually connected, and you're supposed to take them apart. But I think I'm just going to leave them connected, and that way when I go dye something, I can, die cut something, it'll just go ahead and cut several different, like Alchemy bottles or something like that. So I think I want them blue. So, and it's going to have like a vintage Alchemy kind of look. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this paint on my little glass, what do you call it, mat. And I've got some water right here, and I'm just going to kind of get the brush wet. Matter of fact, I'm just going to get the, hold on, I'm going to pour some of this water directly onto the glass mat so that the paint can like spread, and you won't see like brush strokes from the brush, because I don't want to have to brush it on. I'm just going to smear the paper onto the glass mat, and it'll pick up the ink a whole lot quicker and smoother. See how it does that? I like that. And then you have a combination of blues and browns. I'm going to do both sides. And whatever I don't use on this little project, obviously I can use on another project. But I don't know, I love blues and browns. It's just something about those combination of colors. I don't know what it is, but I just love it. Okay, so I've got that one, and I'm just going to go ahead and do this one the same way. Go ahead and try to get that blue in there. And then I'm going to dry this as well in the oven. You don't have to put it in the oven. You could, if you have your heating tool, you could use that, but that takes too long. It's literally 1 minute, and I can get both of these papers done in like a minute or less. That's how quickly it dries in the oven. Okay, so these two are dry now, and you can see the blues, a little bit of the blue, not a whole lot. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, my little die, and like I said, there's together. You're supposed to actually take them apart, but what I'm going to do is there's like embossing on there as well. So what we're going to do, I don't know if it's a smart thing to do or not, but I'm going to try it anyway, is I'm going to take this watercolor marker and kind of go over it, some of those embossed words, as well as like the embossed part of the jar, just some of it, you know, so it can pick up that color. And you could use you could use watercolor, you could probably use ink from like a stamp, or both, but I'm just going to see what this does. I don't know, it might make a difference, it might not, I don't know. But actually, you know what? I think I will stamp it using some, I think I'll use Ranger Archival ink. Like I said, I don't know if this is a smart thing to do or not, but I'm just going to run over top of it with some of this ink. This might help, it might not. But once it gets embossed, I can still go back over it anyway once it's die cut. But I just wanted to go ahead and just to see if I could get it on there beforehand. Then I'm going to lay it right here. And I need to go ahead and cut it. I should have cut it first, to where it's going to fit into the die cutting machine. I have a little Sizzix Vintage Big Kick. Where did I put my scissors? Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna cut it. I'm just gonna bring this on over. And I've got my, I have a magnetic platform, and I've got my base plate. Actually, I need to use this, the one that can get cut on. And then I'm gonna put my paper here, then my die. And before I cut, I'm gonna take this watercolor pen. I'm just gonna kind of go around like some of this where it's getting cut at, where it's going to get die cut at. And it's not necessary, but I just want to see, I'm experimenting to see how it's going to turn out. And I may go over these with some glossy accents after I cut it out. I don't know for sure yet, but we will see. Like I said, I'm just experimenting. Okay. And I'm just going to spritz it with some coffee, and then I'm going to run it through the dye. Come back through. And I actually like this negative. That's pretty cool. And then we've got our little images that we just die cut. So let's pop these out and see what they look like. Okay. Okay, so here's some of those, and I'm going to be putting those together in a little bit. We're just going to slide that on over, along with the die cut negative, over to the side. And then we're just going to stamp this one big old stamp. And I think I'll use some archival ink on that too. Yeah. I thought it was going to be like separate stamps, but this is still fine, because that way I can just cover the whole entire thing. And you know, let me just try to make sure I get ink on all of it. So that's why I'm using this archival ink, this coffee. Yeah, which is quite appropriate, since we did have coffee dyed paper that we're putting this on. I just want to make sure I get it good. And I don't have a stamping block that's this size, so I'm going to just lay it. Ooh, maybe I should do it like this. I'm gonna lay it flat, and I'm gonna smooth it down. I'll probably just take a brayer. I don't know if this is a smart move or not. Oh, I don't know. I think I'm messing it up because it's kind of moving. So this might not be a smart idea to use a brayer. It's fine. I can still come up with something else if I mess it up. Oh, that's not too bad. I can still use some of it. It'll be okay. So, yeah. Looks a little distorted, but it'll be okay, because you can use this as like a fall Halloween kind of thing, or just whatever. It's vintage, so vintage is distorted, so that works out fine. All right, so now I'm gonna we're gonna assemble our little, what do you call it, thingamajigs. I'm going to put them on some dark brown cardstock. I'm going to glue those on together like that, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so before I glue these to this brown paper, I'm going to distress it with some of this Distress Oxide ink. Not Distress Oxide ink, but the Archival Ink Coffee. And I'm just going to kind of like go around the edges. And I'm just using this little dauber right here. You can use whatever kind of dauber. You could actually, I'm just going to lay it down. And this dauber might actually work better. I think it will. It's just enough to give it shadow. To give it that vintage look. What I may do to make it a little bit more fun, and I don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea, but I'm I'm going to see. I'm going to glue this to a piece of acetate, and then I'm going to attempt to put some fluid in behind it, and then glue this to another piece of paper, and we'll see. We'll do that first. So let me get a piece of acetate, or I have some inkjet transparency film. I don't have any acetate, but you can still, whichever you have will work. We're going to try this because it's clear. And like I said, I don't know if this is a smart thing or not so smart thing, but we're going to try it anyway. And I'm going to glue, let's see, I'm just going to use, this is like a combination of art glitter glue, Aleene's tacky glue, and who knows, watered down. So I don't know how well this is going to even stay on the acetate, but we're going to see. I'm hoping it's going to stay. It's kind of watered down, but I don't know. We'll see. Let me get a paintbrush and brush those together. And try to brush that glue down. I have a bad feeling about this. It might not work, but oh, that wasn't real smart of me. I just put this on the acetate. Oh, that was not smart at all. I didn't see it at first. Okay, so see if I can wipe it off without making a big mess. We just won't put it on that part. We'll put it on another side that doesn't have all that smeared glue on it. I might just get another piece because I don't know. I'm just going to get another piece of this transparency film. I'll use it with something else, but just not on this project, since I don't want to mess this up any worse than what I just did. All right, let's get another one. I'll make sure that's dry right there. Okay. Okay, and then I'm just going to lay this onto the acetate. And I'm just going to tap it down. I'm just going to let it dry. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut this down. Going around the edges. Okay, so now I need like another background. Probably, let me see. Probably a white background. But I want to put some fluid in behind it or something. Maybe I won't do fluid. Maybe I will just do glossy accents on the outside of it to make it look like it's got like fluid in it or something. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. So I'm just going to glue this. Or I could make it into a shaker. No, the shaker will be too thick. Or, I could just take some watercolor, like some paint, just a little dab. I don't really need a lot. And just some water and like sprinkle it with a paintbrush. Let me move these out of the way so I can get to my brush. I'm just going to put some blue sprinkles on here. I'm almost out of it. Okay, so then we're just going to glue it, those two together. Let's just wipe this a little bit up first. Yeah, I'm satisfied with that. So we're going to glue this on. And I'm just going to try to stay on the outside edges. Really wish I had something else in here, but it's okay. Like something like fluid that would move without looking weird. So we're just going to glue that on. And we're just going to let that dry, and then I'll cut that out in a little bit. And then, actually, I'll just turn this into a pocket is what I'll do. For a journal. So we're going to get our brown paper back out, and this is going to become like a pocket. So let's just ink around the edges. Actually, I'm going to take this alcohol marker because I like this blue, this broad. I'm going to go around these edges. And I have the notion to kind of go around these, but I don't want to mess it up. Well, I don't know. If I try to stay on the outside, it might be okay. I'm just trying to go around the edge. But like I said, I don't want to mess it up. I'm going to have to let it dry, and then I'll finish going around the edges. But while that's drying, I can still go ahead and put this on here. And I'm going to leave this part open because, like I said, this will be a pocket. It'll be like a framed pocket. So we'll just go ahead and, oops, add a little bit of glue going around the edge. Just take my little brush and kind of go down. Okay, and then we're going to concentrate on these little babies right here. And we want to also, we want to distress some of these too. But since they're so small, I'll definitely have to use like a little dauber or something like a small dauber to distress it with. And so I'm going to get my archival ink back out, my coffee. And we're just going to kind of go over these little bits and bobs. And I'm just going to go over each and every one of them on the inside and around the outside of them. Okay, and so now we're gluing down these little bits and bobs here. And I'm just trying to play match. And I'm having to use my little tweezers so I can kind of get them on here right without it sticking to my hand. I'm just going to match it up. And I'm going to do all of these like that. Okay, so I dried this, and what I want to do now is I'm going to add some glossy accents on it, but before I do that, I want to go over it with a pen, probably just a ballpoint ink pen. Let's see if I can find this. Okay, and basically the edges or the rounded parts that I'm going to put glossy accents on, I'm just going to go around it with the ballpoint pen just to kind of highlight it, because the glossy accents will really shine and show. So I'm going to go around these, around some of the edges that I'm going to be adding the glossy accents to. And it'll pull that color in from behind it. The glossy accents it'll pull that color. And I'm going to put some on here just to kind of show you what I mean. I'm almost out, so I'm having to like really be careful with it, like be scarce with it a little bit. I don't know if you can see that or not, but when it dries, it'll really pull out that darkness. So I'm just going to do that, and then I will be right back. Okay, so I added the glossy accents to all of these, or most of them anyway. So I'm just going to let these sit to the side and dry. Or actually, I'm just going to go ahead and cut going across. And then basically I'm wanting to cut this the little Alchemy bottles away so I can set them to the side on a flat surface to dry. That way I don't mess it up. And then I'm just going to go ahead and cut around this. And then we're just going to cut out some of these words and phrases and different little things. Let me get my smaller scissors. I'm going to do a lot of fussy cutting. I love this. And I'm just going to leave like a little margin when I go around each image. And then we're going to distress it. And we're going to add it to that brown cardstock. And then we'll have some ephemera to use when we start putting our clusters together. I like to use my other, I still like this one. On certain things, I like to just use this because the handle to me is just better. But I mean, to each his own. There's no one size that fits all in crafting. So use what you have and whatever you like. Then I'm going to be gluing this to the brown so that we can have like a stable, well not stable, but a more sturdy piece of cardstock. And this is a 160-pound cardstock that I have anyway, that I had stamped that on, that white cardstock. No, actually that was a 110-pound cardstock. So it's already pretty thick. But when I'm making clusters and some of them, some of the images may have pockets, and I'll use the clusters on part of the pocket. I need to make sure it's completely sturdy so that when you put papers and things behind it, it doesn't wear and tear quite as easily as something thinner. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do with all these. Maybe not all, but most of it. I'm just going to cut out, you know, some of this and then glue it on here. And then we'll be right back. Okay, so I got all of these cut out. And some of them I backed on the brown cardstock. And then some of them I didn't back on brown cardstock. So, and then I also went on ahead and I let these dry. And you can see how with the glossy accents, they have a little more, they're more, what's the word, pronounced. You can kind of see the different parts of them a little bit better. It looks a little bit better, like with the glossy accents. So yeah, I have different little things that we're getting ready to make. So this is that little pocket. So it's going to kind of be like a cluster slash pocket. Let me just set that right there for now. And I've got just some little bits and bobs. And so for no rhyme or reason, I'm just going to take some scrap papers. And we're just going to make some clusters out of them. I've got different papers. I've got some different fabrics that we can put together. And I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to put them together. And I'm probably going to distress some of them. I think I have like an unhealthy obsession with distressing things, but I can't help it. I love it. I love the end result. So it's work, but it's worth it to me. I mean, things look good even when they're not distressed. They do look good, but like I said, I think I have an obsession with everything being distressed. But you don't have to. It isn't like a necessity. So I'm just going to glue this on here. And let's see. I need another contrasting color, so I'm just going to put this. I think I'll put this in the front like that, yeah. So I'll just put some glue on it from here. And then I'm just going to build up. Let's see. What can we use? I'm going to use maybe a little flower. Or no, actually I need some fabric first. Or something. I'll put some of this up underneath it. I thought about stitching, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to stitch or not. I might just glue and then don't worry about stitching. I think that's what I'll do. No stitch today, which is a rarity. So I think I have an obsession with stitching stuff too. Okay, so we're going to glue this cheesecloth on here. Slide that up a little bit. Slide this and make sure I'm in frame. Can you guys see that? And slide this back up just a little bit so you can. Alright, so we got that there. And then we're going to glue on, let's see, a button, or it's not a real button, it's actually just a paper cutout. All these little things that I'm gluing on here are just little fussy cutout elements. They're not, what do you call it? They're not die cut. They're just fussy cut. Where did I put? Oh, here it is, the glue. These are going to be some really simple little clusters here. Let's see, I think I'll put this here. I'm not going to think on it, I'm just going to do it and then just call it a day. So there's cluster number 1, and I'm still letting it dry, but that's not too bad. Yeah, I'm just going to put some music on, and I'm just going to put this in fast forward motion and start creating. So this is pretty much it, guys, and basically what I did was I had put it on some wax paper to dry, and I just laid like a book on top of it just to kind of make sure it's set in. Because of the kind of glue that I used, it was kind of more of like a Mod Podge mix, so that's why I did it like that. But here they are. I got the different little bottles and the stamped images and just different little things like that. They've got our little pocket right here, so I didn't put a tag in it yet. And then we've got our little here's another one of our little embellishments or clusters or whatever you want to call it. And I like how they turned out. I like how the little shiny things turned out. I think they turned out pretty well. So, but yeah, all you have to do is just use your scraps, some stamped images, some die cuts, fussy cuts, and just use what you have, basically. Create your own stuff. Even if you don't have these dies, you can use anything, whatever you have. Just use what you have, throw it together, and create something cute. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please check out my other videos and my blog and my social media sites. And as always, I thank you guys so much for watching.